Yo, this is Podcast for Skaters number 6. I'm Bill Stoppard from Pinto Pony Productions, and I'm here to take you on a ride across Toronto. Let's roll. How do you like my new YouTube voice? It's like a mix of radio voice and the rushed, imperative nature of YouTube. Oh, I have to be quicker for YouTube. So YouTube voice is radio voice plus auctioneer, maybe? Let's try it again. Hey, welcome to Podcast for Skaters number 6. I'm Bill Stoppard, and I'm going to take you on a rip-roaring roll across Toronto. Let's roll. Yeah, that's my radio voice / YouTube voice. My UDO voice. So today I set out not knowing exactly where I was going specifically, but I knew I was going west. I wanted to hit the bike lane. I knew it was somewhat clear. But I wasn't entirely sure how bad it was or how good it was outside. I put a helmet on today because I thought it might be icy in spots. I had potential to fall. And when I got outside, it was actually worse than I thought. Like a little more slippery. Some patches of slush in inconvenient places. So fewer options on the road, so I did have to go a little slower than I would normally go in many places. I had to shorten my stride so I didn't slip out. So my feet didn't slip out on each stride, which can lead to like a chin plant, like a chest dive. You don't get much warning on that when you slip out completely. It's not a good thing, especially on a sprint. I did set out today wanting to keep a sustained pace on my skating, maybe put myself in some cardiovascular difficulty. I wanted today to be a nice, tiring skate, not a beast joint muscle blaster. Just something that challenged my heart, my legs, gave me that lactic acid burn. Clumsy legs. I've been thinking a lot about clumsy skating lately and its place in the city. I do feel that I need to take some longer runs, so generally what I do is I skate for a couple of minutes, and then I hit a light, or a natural pausing place where I take 20 seconds to rest. But I think there is some real value, especially in the way I like to drift through the city. I do like the longer lines. I just believe that I skate much better when it's under 3 minutes at a time. But I should be able to skate through the city for 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time without a break. And by through the city, I mean on and off curbs, jumping over things, absorbing cobblestone, rolling surfaces that are difficult, cracks, potholes, that sort of thing. 30 minutes on a straightaway, a nice clear cycle lane, is a pretty easy thing. So today I threw in a few longer lines, nothing terribly long though. I chose the Flying Eagle skates. The Flying Eagle, what are they called? I have to look this up. Flying Eagle has been very good to me over the years. They helped with prizes for Skater Hunter. Have sent some great product here to my Queen Street West studio. Yeah, it's the Flying Eagle F110H with laser wheels. I chose these Flying Eagle 110s because the 110mm wheels. So I'm up higher over the slush and the snow. I can dig into the pavement, presumably. I also noticed when inspecting all my skates that they had the best wheel condition. Kind of rounded and not pointy. Of course, the exception to that is the Adapt Hyperskate GTO Special. I was not going to bring the Adapt Hyperskate GTO Special out in this mush. Are you kidding me? I mean, I could. It would be no problem. But I am determined to show this skate off for as long as possible. I did put my Adapt Hyperskate GTO through a lot of rough stuff. Through snow, slush, grass, mud, gravel. All the usual suspects. But I'm just not ready for that with this skate. It's just too beautiful. I want to show it to a bunch of people who don't skate. I want people to see the skate while it looks great. And that could be for a year. I think I'll post a picture or do a comparison. That's what I'll do when I do my review, which is coming soon. When I do that review, I'll bring in the Hyperskate GTOs that I've been rolling in for a couple of years and show you the condition of those. You'll be surprised. It's amazing what a washcloth can do to make a skate look new again. Speaking of equipment today, my backpack is as light as I could get it. I packed like a half bottle of water. I was being stingy about the weight. What else? Paper towels, wallet, keys. And the Sonic Sports multi-tool wrench. Oh, this is a good time to mention Sonic Sports. Sonic Sports is a very encouraging supporter of Pinto Pony Productions and my efforts here. Their equipment's awesome too. You all know I love their pucks, their multicolored pucks for inline hockey. They've also got bearings, bearing washers, and a variety of multi-tools. They always seem to be coming up with a new modification to make inline skating wheel changing and bearing changes go smoothly. My favorite tool of theirs is Pinto Pony Orange in color, and it's about the size of the palm of my hand. So yes, that was small enough to make the cut for the backpack. And of course there's the Swiss Army knife and a roll of tape. I always bring a roll of tape in case my GoPro gets smashed up and I have to tape it to the stick. I've done that before. It worked. You didn't even know I did it. Who's the fool now? So it's very important to keep my backpack light because of my back health. After Red July, like a year and a half ago, I had some real issues, and it lasted for a year until maybe shortly before this Christmas, I saw a huge turnaround. But yes, skating with a backpack on for long distances really did my hips in a little bit, and maybe it was a little hard on my knees over the long haul. So carrying like a DSLR camera, a towel, various lenses, sound equipment, just that extra 10 to 12 pounds. I could really feel it at the beginning of a skate. Like anything that was injured felt very precarious at the beginning of a skate. And by the end, these things were just kind of burny. They weren't daggery. I knew they were going to be a bigger problem later. So there was a fair amount of construction out today, and I erred on the side of caution when it came to, do I ride on the road or do I ride on the sidewalk? I made the right choice a few times, and there were other times where I just had to go a little bit extra slow and tire myself out. It was like this uphill here. Doesn't seem like a crazy uphill, but I was getting pretty tired. And I had another one of these construction workers are like characters in a video game just popping up, testing my skills. So yeah, once I get around him, it's imperative that I get a little bit of a sprint on, because I notice in the distance is a guy on a electric scooter. And I need to get out of this little tunnel of metal before I encounter him, because then my strides are just done. And on an uphill, you stop pretty quickly when you stop striding. See, watch this. I just start shortening my stride when I get to him, almost no stride when I pass him, and yeah, close to a dead stop. Have to regenerate that power all over again. Thanks, scooter guy. I got nothing against scooter guy. He could be driving like a 5,000-pound chariot, scooter guy, so good for him for getting out there in a vehicle that like weighs as much as my backpack used to weigh. I skated the Bentway today. You might want to get used to that. I love the Bentway. It's got some great uphills, some swift downhills, some long stretches in the park next to it. I don't skate on the Bentway ice track, or I haven't yet. I've done the ice track on rollerblades, but on ice skates, I think the place for me has been a victim of its own success, or I've been a victim of its own success. The place is always busy. They seem to have many events, a ton of excitement, much happiness. Maybe sometime I'll find it on an early morning or late night where it's empty and I can just do a big long sprint on the straightaway there. It's not really the place to push the corners anyways, because there's no boards. There's some really tight turns. So if you slide out, you're like going to be, I don't know, rolling across some dirt banks, I guess. It's not super dangerous. Well, I guess it would be. There's probably some posts you could hit pretty hard. Yeah, that's a neat little addition to our skate culture here in Toronto. The whole under the bridge thing is just incredible. All this dead space, worse than dead space, almost like dangerous, ugly space that once detracted from Toronto significantly. We're taking it back. And it's so nice to see some of it dedicated to outdoor activity, not just like hot dog stands and beaver tail restaurants and stuff. Sometimes it can be about the activity and not the eating. Maybe that should be my motto. It's not about the eating, it's about the doing. That's what she said, mate. So I've got my sparkly wheels on my laser wheels, and you can see them in some of these darker places. In the light, it almost looks like they have kind of a sparky thing going on. I like wearing these at night. It's just another added layer of visibility. I don't think cars can particularly see them well, seeing as they're so low to the ground. But these, coupled with like a light on your backpack and something in your hand, really covers the bases. Makes you part of the Illuminati. Having great LEDs at night, to me, it's very important. I don't think I've ever considered what color I was wearing, whether it was white or a fluorescent vest. If I don't have my LEDs to point at people or into intersections to represent me from 40 meters away, I don't think I'm safe. And I skate like I'm invisible. I think at night I should skate like I'm invisible. Anyways, I've spoken before about not blasting through intersections at night, even if you're well lit. Maybe if there's a few skaters, you can go through an intersection like you're a car, because presumably you'll have a few lights. But yeah, I think about these things even in the middle of the day on a winter skate, because winter can be dark. Everything can be kind of gray on the wrong day. So I hate getting caught out. So I did put something in my backpack here. So this little uphill was very tiring. Again, it's a slightly shorter stride. And I was working my ass off here. It's actually quite a steep little incline. Well, not super steep, but it's just long and significant, I guess. It's not crazy. And yeah, I was pretty tired at this point. So I was glad the light didn't change right away, like my editing indicates. So again, this bridge, a little bit of an incline here, and wet. So I do a bunch of one-footed pedals. The one-footed pedal bailed me out of a lot of issues on this session. There were times that I just needed to plant one foot and give it a push from behind with the other foot to help keep me narrow, and also not to have that lateral push, just to have straight from behind push, which in some cases was more effective. The roads that I rode today were quite rough, but that's good for the old clumsy skating thing. So why not try to extend the intense experience for slightly longer periods? I don't know that I skated much longer than usual on these stretches, but I did want to get myself to the point where I was really tired, my heart was going like crazy, my legs were burning, and I wasn't skating beautifully. There's a whole other way that I skate when I'm clumsy. Certain muscles that actually get excluded from the picture that I don't use as much, and I can feel it. But we'll get into that later. Once I start doing more clumsy skating, I'll have some more epiphanies. I haven't done much clumsy skating for a while. So in the end, I did find the Great Northeast Passage of King Street West, which connects the south of the city to King Street West, and ultimately to Queen. I'm going to be uploading every Friday on some other days as well, but it's not always going to be a podcast, just to warn you. It could get boring, me podcasting every Friday, for me and you. So I want to put together some well-considered videos, some fun themes, and then do the podcast when I have something to talk about, and start including guests as well. So yeah, the podcasts I'm going to refine. Oh yeah, originally somebody's like, every week? Good luck with that. Or like, that's ambitious. And yeah, it was probably a little crazy, because then I started thinking about the podcast, what I want to talk about, and it kind of distracts me from doing the spontaneous themes or other bigger themes that I want to do. So yeah, the podcast will happen naturally in the future. There'll be those times where I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I want to talk about. I'm going to do the podcast, and I don't even have to work on it. So That has happened a couple times, and that's the way the podcast should be. Just feel compelled to speak to the audience, and I have lots to say. You guys can sense it when I'm just making stuff up to fill time. Is that what I'm doing now? No, I wouldn't do that. I would like to thank my Patreon patrons. I'm loving the conversations and questions I have. The ideas I get from you guys are super valuable, and I think I'm getting particularly good ideas from Patreon patrons because these people perhaps have been around a little longer or know my channel extremely well. I mean, if they're liking my channel so much they actually want to like sign up to a site and support it, that's a big move. So they're super supporters. So that's podcast for skaters number 6. I think it's going to be called Clumsy Skating. Wait, Winter Skating and Clumsy Skating, podcast number 6 with Bill Stoppard. Yeah, that voice is not going to be a winner. Deadpan Bill is way better, right? Right? Tell me he is. I hope you're off to a flying start with your New Year's resolutions and you've taken some big steps already. Congratulations on a new task, a new game. Life's only a really exciting game if you're always planning to level up. So to finish, I'll just show you the kind of the classic view I had today of the higgledy-piggledy pavements and the construction sites across Toronto. This is very typical of what I skated today. Not pretty, but a city on the move. Toronto looks so much nicer with leaves. I still love the city in the winter, but yeah, I like the trees. That's it.
Thank you.